Okay, Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and salutation you Akim out here that's been pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. There's an article, ABC News. It says, man shot to death while with 10-year-old daughter in Manhattan, Delhi. Here's the video, but I'm not going to play the video because I don't want them to give me a copyright infringement or take my or flag my channel. So I'm just gonna skip the video and go into the article. It says the shooting unfolded right in front of Berry's daughter, who was with him at the time. New Jersey, MJ Burkett has the details. Now, I'm gonna say this. It's been plenty of times I've been with my daughter when she was up at that time. I had to pick her up from her mother because I have visitation rights. I avoid all kind of conflict when I was with my daughter. I'm not a confrontational person anyway, so you have to think for people. You see this dude is looking irate, and you can't be arguing with everybody, especially when you have your children with you. Now, she's going to be scarred for the rest of her life for that incident that took place in that Manhattan deli. Everything is of the Lord. So ultimately, that was his judgment. Well, I'm not going to jump ahead of everything. Let's just read the article. Inwood, Manhattan, WABC police are reviewing new surveillance video of the moments before a man was shot to death in the Manhattan deli while with his young daughter. You shouldn't be out there arguing when you got your daughter with you. Now you're putting your daughter in harm's way. And you can see that the dude had spirits on him. When you watch the video, it was like they knew each other. That's what it looked like in the video. It looked like they knew each other and they was arguing over something. Whatever that was, who knows? It says, officials say that there was an argument between two men after 4 p.m. inside the store located at 144 Negro Avenue. It says, the victim, 30-year-old Takeem Berry, was shot in the chest. The incident unfolded right in front of his 10-year-old daughter who was with him at the time. I don't want the children to see her father get killed. It can't affect her in the future. She can have problems. So we kept her inside. We gave her soda. We gave her whatever she wants. We talked to her. The store's owner said the victim's daughter was not hurt. Hey, there's scriptures that you can go into that aligns right up with this argument right here. You get into a confrontation with somebody, maybe because you bumped into them, you skipped them in the line. It could have been anything. But for what looks like from the video, from the surveillance video, they knew each other. So that was a beef that maybe perhaps the dude could have. Now he got his daughter with him. I'm not going to. But sometimes men don't care. When you got that grimy, demonic spirit on you, dudes don't care, man. I got a scripture before I go on with the article. Proverbs chapter 15, verse 1. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. Hey, man, speak politely to these people, because you never know what they're going through, how many demons they have on them, what they into. Because you got that gang banging spirit out there, that demonic gang banging spirit, that Jacob that shed blood, man. So you got to be extra careful, and then especially when you got your little ones with you, you shouldn't be out there arguing with anybody. And that's crazy. But hey, once again, that's judgment, man. It says, Proverbs chapter 15, verse 1. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. Is what you say out of your pie hole could stir up anger or appease anger, man. How you address a situation is how the situation is going to unfold. If you address a situation with soft, easing words, then maybe you may get out of the situation unscathed. Or you start talking shit and being all rowdy and contentious and showing that you ready to, escalate the situation, it's only going to get crazy, man. You gotta think for these Jakes out, because Jake don't think, man. They fueled by emotions, because most of them was raised by the woman, and the woman that's an emotional wreck, an emotional box. So you gotta understand that talking to somebody, dealing with these Jakes out, these men, it's like dealing with the nigga woman, because they fueled by emotions. There's no logic in their thinking. They're only fueled by their emotions. And that guy that killed that dude, your face is plastered all over the video. So it's eventually they're going to catch you. Then you're going to do the rest of your life until the Lord allows Yahweh Shai to come back, crack them skies, bring death, destruction, and deliverance. You're going to be in the prison system up until the missiles come. It says, Proverbs chapter 15, verse 2, the tongue of the wise useth knowledge upright. That's right. The tongue of the knowledge, the tongue of the wise useth knowledge upright, but the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. And that's what happened, man. When you getting into an argument, arguing over stupid shit, that's what happens, man. The eyes of the Lord are the eyes of the Lord Yahweh are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. A wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit. When you out there doing crook shit, perverse shit, wicked shit, gangbanging, eventually it catches up to you. Committing adultery, drug dealing, and whatever else wickedness out there that Jake is doing, man. I'm talking about Jake, I'm talking about you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. Eventually that shit gonna catch up to you. And the Lord's gonna bring judgment on you. So let's get back to this article. The victim, 30-year-old Takeem Berry, was shot in the chest. Yeah, we read that already. Let me just go down. It says Berry was pronounced dead at Harlem Hospital. The surveillance video shows the suspect leaving the bodega during the argument with his hands in his coat, in his green coat. Now, him being in his rage, not observing everything and being circumspect, because he was not dealing with logic, he was dealing with his emotions. That's why they were arguing. He did not see that the man had his hands in his coat. That's a red flag, man. Too late. It says, let me slow down. The surveillance video shows the suspect leaving the bodega during an argument with his hand in his green coat. Police say the suspect later charged back into the store and firing a single shot into Berry's chest. It was not yet clear what sparked the dispute. From what you see in the surveillance, it's like they knew each other. So anything could have sparked the dispute. Somebody owing somebody money, somebody stepping on somebody's territory, whether they're dealing with drugs. It could have been over a woman. It could have been over a multitude of things. But guess what? That was judgment. That was judgment of the Lord, man. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28. Let me just get it. 28 verse 28. The Lord shall smite thee with blindness. It's like the Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. Jake is filled with Jake out there. They don't deal with a spiritual mind. Their heart is filled with madness, man. Gang banging. They are only devised of mischief and wicked devices that they can inflict on somebody else. Whether it's by committing adultery against them, shooting them, whatever wicked device that they can think of. That's what these jakes are into, man. And like I said, what I said, you jakes, about you Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. You're into straight wickedness. And this is a prime example of how to conduct yourself, especially when you're with your children. And we out there in the streets, gang banging and doing all kind of crazy shit, then you shouldn't be with your children walking in the streets, knowing that you got enemies, first and foremost. So you creating a hostile environment for your children, which is totally off, which is totally wicked, man. It says, let me read that again. Deuteronomy 28, verse 28. The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness. Because Jake don't know what the hell is going on, man. Your mind is filled with nothing but a bunch of madness, a bunch of wicked devices that you devise in your mind, your brain, and you totally oblivious of what's going on in this society. Gone, man. Y'all have no clue what's going on. Because y'all have been smitten with blindness, man. You don't know who y'all are. Even though you're heard of the Hebrew Israelite, but the Most High put that spirit on you not to understand what's going on, man. That's Isaiah chapter 6, verse 9. There's an angel blocking you from understanding what's going on in the society. Because you slated for destruction. And guess what happened? Man got put to death in front of his daughter. Probably for some stupid shit too. It says, and thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness. And Jake is in a spiritual dismal of darkness, man. Jake is just gone. And thou shalt grope, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and sport evermore, and no man shall save thee, no man shall redeem thee. Only one that's going to redeem us is Yahweh. Why Yahweh Shah? Yahweh Shah. Gone, man. Jake is, and you could tell the man wasn't right in the head. You watch the video. He running back and forth in the store, hesitating. He outside the store, hesitating, with his hands in his pants. I'm saying with his hands in his jacket. He was just building up the courage to go and do what he did. It says, officials say Berry has 19 prior arrests, and police are looking at whether that had anything to do with the shooting, or whether this was a chance dispute. It could have been a dispute. Man bumped into him, skipped him in the line. They didn't know each other. It could have been that way, but it's highly unlikely that's the scenario, because when you look at the video, it looks like they know each other. So it says, police are still searching for the shooter. He appeared to be in his 20s and took off heading north on Eagle Avenue toward Dyckman Street right after the incident. One neighbor said Berry kept to himself and was not well known. His brazen, cold-blooded murder has shaken the neighborhood. Okay. I was surprised. We lock up the pharmacy. We were a little worried. We didn't know what would happen next. Pharmacist Mike Ikes said, most customers refused to discuss the shooting or to say whether the gunman was a familiar face. Clerks at the bodega said he was not familiar to them. No arrests had been made, and the investigation is ongoing. Hey, man, they knew that guy, man. But they're not going to say they knew the guy because they're afraid for their life, because they got a business they got to run. They got to establish that they got to run, man. Bottom line, man. It was tragic, but that was judgment, man. It was a short article, Because most of the whole article, it is around this video, but I'm not going to play the video. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28. If you jump down to 28:54, it tell you Deuteronomy, the same chapter, the The 28th chapter, the 54th verse tell you that, I'm going to read it. Our eyes shall be evil toward their brother. It says, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his wife. No, I'm slacking. So that this is Deuteronomy 28, verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. And that's why you got a lot of jakes out there leaving their children. You got a lot of single mothers out there. That's a curse. That's part of the curses, man. Even Jake, that even so-called black on black crime, Jake killing one another. That's a curse, man. I just read it. His eyes shall be evil toward his brother and the wife of his bosom and his children. That's part of the curses, man. That's part of the curses. And a lot of people, they don't consider themselves being under the curses, but you are definitely under the curses, man. You are definitely under the curses. This is Proverbs. I should have got it. Slack here. This is Proverbs chapter, same chapter 15. 15 verse 18. And it reads, A wrathful man stirreth up strife, but he that is slow to anger appeaseth strife. If he didn't know the guy, because they said in the article that the man was not well known. So if he didn't know the guy and you see the guy was agitated, you could tell the guy eventually was looking for trouble. He had a gun on him, so he was looking for trouble. If he was looking for you, or he was just looking for trouble. When you see a man that's agitated and filled with wrath and speaking harsh words, hey man, read it again. A wrathful man stirreth up strife, but he that is slow to anger appeaseth strife. How can you appease that? By speaking soft words. Hey, pardon me, bro. No problem, bro. Sorry, man. If I skipped in front of you, whatever the case may be, I apologize. My bad, brother. Maybe that would have toned down this wrath, especially when you got your daughter with you. See, it's sad, but that was judgment. Sad, but that was judgment. And there's no other way around that, man. Last scripture before I close it out, I'm going to go back into Deuteronomy and I'm going to go to 32 verse 39 because this was judgment. See now that even I am he, and there's no God with me. The Lord killed that man. And make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. For if I lift my hand to heaven and say, I live it forever. If I wet, that will wet means that W-H-E-T means to sharpen. If I wet my glittering sword and my hand take hold on judgment, that was judgment, man. I will render vengeance to my enemies and will reward them that hate me. I will make my arrows drunk with blood. Now, the arrows represent the nuclear missiles, drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour flesh, and my sword shall devour flesh, and that with the blood of the slain and of the captives from the beginning of revenge upon the enemy. You got to understand, that was judgment for the Lord. The Lord brought forth judgment on that man. And he used that bugged out individual to do it. Terrible thing, man. That's why you got to be circumspect and you got to watch your surroundings, especially when you got your children with you. Watch what you say, watch what you do, and watch how you treat people. Man shot to death while with his 10-year-old daughter in the Manhattan deli. It was tragic when you look at it on a physical level, but on a spiritual level, that was judgment from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. Shalom.